Hi, so today at SuperTraining Gym at Big Mark Bell, we're gonna do a workout based on like how I do things.
Oh,
so
no.
what we're gonna do is we got 4 exercises, 4 sets of 25, and we're gonna get that done in about 10 to 12 minutes. So we are busting fucking ass. The key is to try to get the heart rate up around 130 to 140 and sustain it through the warm up. Then we'll have a small break before we do our specific speed work. And in that specific speed work today, we're gonna use 5 chain, so 200 pounds of accommodative resistance and 185 pounds. That's equating to about a 500 to 575 bench depending on your speed. After we get done with that, we're gonna assess where the weakest points are and we're gonna train those very, very hard. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna smash the fucking lats to pieces. The trick is you have to do enough work on the backside so you're allowed to work the front side harder. The next thing we have to do is tell the brain that we want the triceps to be the main movement or the main exercise or the main muscle that does all the work when we bench press so we don't have torn pecs, as Mark Bell's learned in the past.
I've experienced that quite a bit.
What we're gonna do is make ourselves lat and arm dominant and let the pec and shoulder grow slowly over time by just benching but not isolating.
As Matt and I talked about, when you load up a bench press, even if you're not insanely strong, even if right now you're benching 225 or 275, it's gonna take you a certain amount of time to warm up to that weight. So you're gonna get a lot of reps and a lot of sets and a lot of volume before you even get to any of your main work. And then there's your typical 5 sets of 5 or 3 sets of 3 or whatever it is you're following. Do you do the same thing on back? No, and that's why we're gonna do this today.
So we counter it in the beginning, we counter it at the end. If you're to calculate all the volume that we do, we're doing almost double the amount of back work to front work, and I believe that's what's kept me healthy for 25 years of competing.
It ends up being 1.2 million pounds. I just did the math in my head. Let's go. Worth it. So we're in there. Locked in.
Well, there's a house in Sin City. And it's been the ruin of many a poor boy. And God knows that I'm one.
1, 2, 3, up. So we both trained at Westside Barbell, and we got a little demonstration of how fast the back and forth is. The back and forth, I'm not in condition to lift this weight by any means. He's certainly in better condition to be able to lift that. And by better condition, I just mean stronger. I can go all day on this because I've been doing a lot of conditioning stuff. I don't have the strength. Strength is a part of conditioning, but what is something you kind of learned from like training at Westside where it was like, I go, you go, I go, you go, and there's like no rest?
It's learning to have intent on the bar even when you're tired. So we started getting into the sets, we got more tired. But if you were to hook a machine onto the bar to measure the speed, set 1, 2, and 3 would be the same as set 6, 7, and 8.
Yeah.
It's intent. Every time I'm lifting that, we were both taught to give maximum attention. So if I want to bench 632, every time I lay down on that bench, I'm thinking 632 pounds of pressure in that bar.
Even though it's 185 pounds and some chains.
Even though it's 200 pounds of chain and 185, so 385 at the top, I'm treating it like it's 632. People always ask why I bench in my sandals. The real trick is that sandals cause me to be unstable in my feet. So foot drive is huge in the bench, up to 15% carryover. If I bench in sandals all the time, and then only very rarely when I'm peaking for a meet, put my shoes on, then I have a more solid base, therefore I'm able to lift more weight. So there is some rhyme behind my reason, other than the fact that I'm just lazy.